Hi, I want to show you the state space grid feature in Interact today. Now imagine we have a usability test and we have those two videos and we do some observations. So I position the video to the start point where I want to start my observation. Just say start observation, link the current media file, yes, and here is my coding system. I have a coding system consisting of actions and facial expressions, and I want to go through the video coding some activities. Don't look at the videos right now, it's just about the idea. Now the person is opening mail or checking the mail, looking to the screen, opening PDF, and so on. I just want to collect data randomly to show you the state space grid feature. Whenever I click on one of those codes here, as you can see, Interact is recording a new event with a start time, and when I click another code, it records the end time of the previous behavior and starts a new one. Now imagine we're done with that coding. I show you how this looks like in my timeline chart. Now in the timeline chart I have all the events here as bars in this timeline chart. When I make a double click on one of them, Interact is replaying exactly this fragment over and over again. Now I coded the activities. Let me jump back to the start of the first event, and I want to code the facial expressions right now. So I start observations, play, and say, for example, this person is looking concentrated. Let's say he's looking irritated now. He's having some other facial expressions, and so on. I just again collect some random data because I want to show you the state space grid, and for this we need to have some data to play with. Now let's collect some more. Okay, I think this should be enough. So stop the observation. Now when you take a look into the timeline chart, now I have also codes for the facial expressions here. I see in the upper part, I see all the actions, and the lower part I see the facial expressions, and now they are co-occurring behaviors or codes. I could do some statistics in here, but I want to show you, as I said, the state space grid. Now when I click on the state space grid, it immediately opens and shows all the data that has been coded. Now how can we read the data right now? First we have a data group and a data set, which is this one here, and we have classes on the on axis number 1, and we have classes on axis number 2. On axis number 1 we have the actions, which are those here, and on the other axis we have the facial expressions, which are those here. Now that's exactly what you would see in the timeline chart. Let me show that again. You're seeing here the actions and the facial expression at the same time, for example. So they co-occur for a certain amount of time. Let's go back to the state space grid. That's exactly what you see here. Let me rearrange that. Now here is a time bar, and the time bar shows me the current time information. If I select only a fragment, I only see what's going on at the start. Now this participant is opening the mail, and now I can play that behavior or replay that behavior, and this allows me to see from which state to which other state the behavior is changing or the activities are changing. Now let's go back again to the start. Here we have the activity opening a mail, no facial expression. This is because this is how we coded it. We don't have facial expression coded during that time here. And from opening the mails, the behavioral state is going into concentrated opening mails, which is this one here, concentrated opening mails. If I go a bit further, we see that the person remains in that state, and this is the idea of the state space grid, and the state changes quickly to opening mail, being irritated, going to checking the mail, still being irritated, here check mail, irritated, going to check mail, other face expression, looking on the screen, and so on. So in this way you can replay the behavior, and the size of the circle always shows how long this person remains in that state. Now imagine that you have on one of the axes you have, for example, a mother, and on the other axis you have an infant. You would see all the states they are in at a certain point in time and to which state they are switching. You can also do this with a manager and an employee, or with, for example, a couple in couple therapy. And then you would see in the state space grid that, for example, in situation number 1, which would be this session that you observed, you have a lot of activities going on in a certain area of the chart. And if you compare this to another study, for example, after you gave some consultancy to a couple or some advice to a parent, then you would see that this behavior is, for example, changing into a different area of the chart. And this is a very, very nice representation that allows you to quickly show that the behavior obviously is completely different in situation number 1 and situation number 2. You can also do this with lots of data sets. Let me close it and go to the start. Here, if you have an interact already, you have also those demos here. So you can select the state space grid demo file, which is a bigger data file having multiple data groups and data sets. When I go to the analysis, show the state space grid here, I can select all the data sets, which now would be different users or different participants or different subjects, or however you will call that. And you can see they are now all in one chart. You can select that you only want to see, for example, the ones from the second trial, or you want to see the ones from the third trial. And also there are some measures in here, and those measures, for example, tell you, for example, the duration percentage in each of those cells. Now you would see, for example, for trial number 1, we have a huge percentage in surprised and insecure. And if we go to trial number 2, we would have a huge, where is it? Here, for example, in happy and wave, or neutral and insecure, or point and neutral. So this immediately shows you that you can easily compare different studies by using the state space grid. And also the visualization is very nice because you can replay all that behavior, and this allows you to see what was really going on during your recorded video session. I hope you like this, and to see you soon again on one of the next demonstrations of Interact or any of our other products. And thank you and goodbye.